Ladies and gentlemen, welcome here today to Homestead-Miami Speedway. More NASCAR Xfinity Series action on NASCAR Heat 5 on the channel here tonight. About to get started in this one, 300 miles, 200 laps of racing for our 6th race of the season. No practice or qualifying entering this one, so Dale Jr. will be starting from the back in the 34th position as we go racing on a Saturday night. Nonetheless, we're about to get into this one. This one's a little bit later start time for Saturday. Again, I had to work this week because I'm not even going to get into it. It was a stupid reason I had to work, but it's in the past now. I'm home. So regardless of the fact, we are going to get this one underway after the fact. I will be working Saturdays going forward. It was just a random occasion that I was going to here today. Tim Irvin King, welcome to the stream. So here we go in this one. Ryan Sieg will be starting at the pole, or I should say on the pole. Alex LeBay, Anthony Alfredo will be starting from the rear of the field along with Dale Jr. as we mentioned. Harrison Burton outside pole in second place is where he'll be starting as well. Here we go, green flag in the air. We're underway here at Homestead-Miami Speedway for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Junior getting a decent start despite being on the outside there, getting to the bottom as quick as he can. 45 laps in the opening stage of the race. The stages will be split 45, 45, and 110 to the end of the race. We'll have to see what the fuel and tire issue will look like in the opening stage here. As far as the fuel goes, nobody will have to make a pit stop in the opening stage. They will pit at the stage break likely, and then at the beginning of the following stage after that, they will be able to make it to the end in stage 2 as well. Again, that is for fuel. We don't know what the tire outcome will be until these laps get going. But one lap already locked in front of Dale Jr. Gained a couple spots off the start. End up losing a couple right back. Net gain of one spot in the first 2 laps of the race that are complete. 3 wide to the bottom now into turn 3. Sliding up in front of Matt Mills. Race car's a little tight at the very beginning of the race here as Mike Harmon on the inside, Tommy Joe Martin's on the outside. They're 3 wide off the exit of turn 2. Brendan Runyon, Joshua White, welcome to the stream. I did not get to watch the Xfinity race today. I had to work for some stupid reason, so we'll leave it at that. And I had to, unfortunately, miss the race. I did see highlights of it, though, when I got home. Oh yeah, I forgot IMSA was racing at Charlotte Roval this weekend too. Yeah, definitely a rainy weekend, that is for sure. It rained all day during the Xfinity race today. And I saw that AJ Allmendinger won the race, so good for him. He's got a few wins this season. Again, goes back, I think he should run full time. Colleague's going to have at least one spot open next year. I say put AJ Allmendinger in there full time. I want to see him run full time Xfinity. I think that'll make it entertaining. Almost be like a Justin Allgaier or Michael Annett situation there where you have like an older veteran racing in the Xfinity Series. Obviously for Allgaier and Annett, they never panned out in the Cup Series. You could say the same for AJ, but AJ had a little bit more success. But they will be likely racing in the rain tomorrow for the Cup Series, and that should definitely be a big one, especially with it being a cutoff race in the round of 12. It's definitely going to throw a lot of things in for a loop. Junior in the 29th position right now. He's not really moving up through the field fast at all. Race car seems really tight at the very beginning of the run, just pushes way up the racetrack. He's having to get out of the gas still quite a bit just to get the car to enter into the corner. This race car is just tight all the way around right now. We'll see as the run carries on if the tires will loosen up and maybe make the car a little bit faster. I'd have to assume that could be the case. Almost 10 laps in already. Working to the outside of a few cars. Josh Bilicki, CJ McLaughlin, David Starr all around. Dale Jr. here, just inside the top 30. Off the top of my head, I think the last time the Cup Series raced in the rain was 2015 at Watkins Glen. And it didn't rain the entire race either. I think it only rained for about the first like 20, 30 laps of the race, and that was it. The Xfinity Series, we've seen them race in the rain quite a bit. I remember Mid-Ohio a couple years ago and Watkins Glen a couple years ago. They raced in the rain. So Road America, they might have had a stint in there as well. I know one of the races internationally, whether it was in Mexico or Canada, I can't quite remember, but I remember one of those races, they raced in the rain also at a time. So we've seen it's a little, I guess, I don't want to say, I don't know what the right word is for it. I don't want to say more unpredictable, but you just don't see it as much in the Cup Series for whatever reason. Just tends to not rain on a Sunday versus the Saturday at the racetrack. Oh yeah, yeah, Road America this year. There might have been another year too, but we'll see how the Cup cars can get it done. Junior slowly but surely moving up through the field. He's up to 22nd. Alex LeBay not too far ahead of him in 20th. He also started at the back of the pack. Trey, welcome to the stream. Dale Jr. coming off a dominating win yesterday at Atlanta. Didn't win both stages in the race, but he won stage 2 and won the race after leading 101 of the 164 laps. Car doesn't look nearly as dominating as what it did last night. Already about 10 seconds off the race lead as well. He's going to want to have a shot to even get close to winning this stage. He definitely has to put on the afterburners. Big move. Barely clearing Austin Hill down the front straightaway. Had a bunch of slower cars right in front of him down the front stretch. He was able to clear them all by the time they got into turn 1. All of a sudden, Dale Jr. has moved up to 14th. Still about 9.5 to 10 seconds off the lead, though, but he is moving through the traffic. If he can find a little bit more clean air, maybe he can start knocking the time down. The car is loosening up slightly, which is helping the car rotate a little bit more, making it better for the longer run. Is what it's looking like here tonight in the Xfinity Series at Homestead. Talladega was definitely wild, that's for sure. Definitely a wreck fest. Too much for my liking, but because I was there in person, it was wild enough, and it was my first Talladega experience, so still makes me want to go back next year. The racing they had where there wasn't accidents was just incredible. No matter how safe those cars are now, you still got to give them credit for strapping in there. Tyler Burback, welcome to the stream also. Dale Jr. to the inside of his nephew Jeffrey. for 12th. He'll get around him easily there. Oh, got back in the gas a little too soon. Started pushing up the track. Almost in the wall. Jeffrey Earnhardt going to try to cross him back over. Almost got to the inside of him. That was definitely close. He was almost on that left rear corner panel. Maybe could have side drafted him down the front straightaway, held him back enough to get around him, but that wasn't the case. Joe Nemechek off to a good start as well inside the top 10. At 10th position as well. Yeah, but the thing is, though, if the Xfinity Series was a wreckfest today, again, I was unable to watch it, so I don't know for sure, you know, with my own eyeballs what happened. I'm sure I'll see the highlights in the morning, tomorrow morning. But think about it. They're racing in the rain, for one. For two, there was no practice or qualifying for them to race in the rain. That's a big mistake. They should definitely have practice in these kinds of situations. 3, it's a road course in which the Xfinity Series has only raced 2 times before. Same for the Cup Series, 2 times before. And a lot of those drivers, especially in the Xfinity Series, haven't even turned a lap on the racetrack. Like Riley Herbst, one of the better Xfinity young guns. Never raced on the on that road course at all coming into today. And not only he has to go in with no practice or qualifying, but he has to race in the rain on top of it. And it's a playoff race, which makes it a little worse, and everybody's, you know, fighting for every point they can throughout the course of the stages. So it's just not a good decision. NASCAR really, I get the one-day shows, and you know it's a different time with COVID going on and everything, but they got to give these crews more credit because I saw Gragson got turned. Did he make it to the next round of the playoffs? Can anybody tell me, did Noah Gragson make it? And if he didn't make it to the next round of the playoffs, then that's a shame. Because if they would have had some sort of preparation, maybe Riley Herbst might not have missed the braking zone. I know it was raining again. That was a huge factor of it. But with all those things combined, it was a little piece of everything combined. He missed the corner. I don't think he dumped him intentionally. But I did see that replay of it. I don't think he dumped him intentionally. And if that just costed Gragson his season, that's so unfortunate. Drew Riley, welcome to the stream. Gragson still made it. All right, well that's good. At least, I mean, could you imagine that if that just costed him his season? I mean, that would have been terrible. Thanks for letting me know. Again, I was not able to see the race, so. Cup Series would make it a priority. Even if I was working, I would have been watching it while I was at work. But we're not even open on Sundays anyway, so. Saturdays we are. I just don't work the Saturday shift. But again, I got pulled in. Got my arm twisted. Fastest lap of the race ran that time by Dale Jr. that last lap, and we are halfway through stage number 1 already. He's worked his way up to 10th right now, just past halfway through the tire run, and he's still about 7 seconds off the race lead. So he is cutting into it slightly, but it's taking him quite a ways into the run before he's really cutting into that deficit. Big run, Dale Jr. to the inside of Justin Allgaier. And he'll clear him easily in the center of turns 1 and 2. That is a pass for 8th. Austin Cindric about a half second ahead of Dale Jr. now in 7th. Of course, this was the lone racetrack that Dale Jr. ran in the Xfinity Series this season. Got a top 10 finish. And ran solidly throughout most of the day. So we'll see if we can double up on that and have a good finish ourselves here with him in this race. A-Kart's definitely getting faster over the course of the run. A huge amount of lap traffic coming up at about a lap and a half to 2 laps now. AJ won a race earlier this season too, so he wouldn't have even had to point his way in. Remember, he won, oh man, where was it earlier this year? He won on an oval. I almost said Bristol. I know it wasn't Bristol. I'm having a massive brain fart right now. I know he won earlier this year. Was it Kentucky? I know he won on an oval. One of the random ones. His way in if he ran for points. He just would have. If he ran the full season, he would have been fine with that win. Who's to say he wouldn't have won more races? Another reason why I want him to run full-time Xfinity next year. Chastain going to the 42 car in the Cup Series. There's definitely a spot open there for colleague. To be talking about that a lot either. Maybe they talk over on the broadcast. I don't watch every Xfinity race, so I wouldn't know, but oh, for sure, he's definitely one of the better personalities within the sport. Atlanta, there we go, yep. Yeah, he won in Atlanta this season. I believe that was his only win. He might have won another road course this season too, but off the top of my head, I'm not entirely sure. I know he definitely competed for wins at every road course this year. Oh man, Junior got loose off in turn 4. Kind of threaded the needle there going up the middle between the lap car Balicki and the 19 of Brandon Jones, who was battling for position. Briscoe caught behind Pincham on the inside. Junior gets loose on the outside, stays in the gas and gets around him. Using the lap car as a pick, Briscoe's able to get around him to the inside. Now Junior sends it into turn 3 to get by Chastain for 4. So Dale Jr. working his way through the field. 3 seconds off the lead now in the 4th spot. Barely behind 2nd and 3rd. 2nd filled up by Riley Herbst. 3rd filled up by Daniel Hemrick. And your race leader is Harrison Burton. 5 races in, 3 different winners. 2 of which inside the top 20 in the points. Oh, trouble. Turn 3, cautions out. Car up in smoke. It's Harrison Burton. Problems for Harrison Burton while leading. It looks like he has an engine failure. And that is going to knock him out of the race in the early going. He will only get 1 point tonight because of it. And he will finish last. And that is a tough break for Harrison Burton. He was looking like he might have been on his way to winning stage 1. Led a lot in the opening stage, and now things have just gotten really, really interesting. We're going to see pit stops under the caution here. Right side tires only for Junior and his team. Half around a wedge being taken out of the car. He'll loosen it up a little bit as well. So major implications as far as this race goes already. Harrison Burton, while leading, blows an engine. He is done. Junior wins the race off of pit road. Gained that spot by taking 2 tires versus 4. Green flag back in the air. 12 laps to go, stage 1. Junior took 2 tires to conserve the amount of tires he's got the rest of the way. But it's going to be tough for him to hang on here. It's going to be extremely tough for him to hang on to this stage win. It's really going to be up for grabs for anybody, but he had a good restart, getting through the shifts. Junior hurts Chastain. Hemrick battling for 3rd. Jones in 5th as Junior slides up the track. Riley Herbst to the inside. He is there. Junior leads the lap, but it's Herbst on the inside looking for the lead into turn 1. Side by side behind for 3rd. Junior just does not have the grip, and he gets hit from behind from Chastain. Washes both cars up the racetrack as they lose multiple positions. 3 wide down the back now between Cindric, Briscoe, and Junior. Riley Herbst leads. Daniel Hemrick to the inside again. Chastain to the back bumper of Dale Jr. That is not working at all. Chastain wants to go, but he's being very, very overly aggressive right now and racing the 8 car. Junior very well holding these guys up. Saw that 7 of Allgaier get a little loose. A little sideways off in turn 2 as well. And that race car still tight for Junior, especially in the early runs. Another hit from behind, but this time it's from a teammate, Michael Annett. At least Junior stayed square that time. 9 laps to go, stage 1. Herbst still hanging on out in front of the field. Call 48, welcome to the stream. Jesse Little all over the back of Junior, and Junior is likely going to miss out on stage points here if this car doesn't kick in any second. Still hanging on in 12th. Jesse Little's been trying to get around Junior. Junior gets the straightaway speed on him still, but the cornering is where Little keeps gaining on him. Junior to the inside of Annette, and he might be able to squeak by and get a few stage points still. He could side draft the cars when he gets to their inside. Couldn't quite stay there on Jeffrey Earnhardt that time. He'll drive it in fairly deep to turn 3. Had to get on the brakes a little bit. Trying to beat Jeffrey Earnhardt back to the gas. Can he slide up in front of him? He does. Junior back inside the top 10. 6 laps to go, stage 1. Riley Herbst barely in the lead. Hemrick looks to be a little faster than him in the early going of the run, but he just cannot get around him to save his life. And he's running out of time to do it, to try to get that playoff point. Luckily for Harrison Burton, he does have 2 wins already in the young season. Both being won back-to-back at Auto Club and Phoenix. 3 wide to the bottom goes Junior. He's gaining spots. How about Joe Nemechek at 7th, but he's about to be passed by Dale Jr. And now he's back to 8th. Justin Allgaier's coming from behind as well. Right behind his teammate who created the hole in turns 3 and 4. Junior's starting to gain some spots at the end of the stage here. I don't think he's got enough time to get to these guys, but one of his teammates, Daniel Hemrick, the other 8 car in the field, is at the front, and Daniel Hemrick has taken the lead late in stage 1. Leading his first laps of the race now. Black Ace, welcome to the stream. Brandon Jones trying to go for 3rd on Austin Cindric. 3 laps to go. This time by at the line. Junior's still about 2.5 to 3 seconds off the lead. Definitely not going to catch the leader, but it'll be interesting to see if he can catch anybody else. Hemrick, meanwhile, is pulling away from Riley Herbst, so it's almost certain that Daniel Hemrick will be the winner in stage 1. Everybody from 3rd on back, though, is going to be battling to that green-white checker flag in less than a lap and a half. Cindric still on the bottom and still trying to block Jones as much as he can. Got to watch Ross Chastain on the outside. White flag in the air, 1 lap to go, stage 1, this time by. Junior's gaining time on Chase Briscoe, meanwhile. Might have a shot in turns 3 and 4 to get around him. He's in his draft down the back straightaway, and he will look to the inside. Jones will also get to the inside barely of the 22 of Cindric. Chastain looking all the way to the top, but he's probably not going to get enough of a run there, and Jones will make the last lap pass for 3rd. Daniel Hemrick will win stage 1 here at Homestead. Mari P, welcome to the stream. So Daniel Hemrick wins stage 1 here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. We'll see pit stops now under the stage break here. Dale Jr. actually going to stay out of the pits. Took right sides only under the first and only caution for incident in the race, which came out at lap 30. Hemrick will lead the field on the pit road though, so Junior stays out. Free pass is going to go to Colby Howard as well. So interesting pit strategy here. Again, Junior trying to conserve the amount of tires he's got the rest of the way. Green flag back in the air here. Stage number 2 underway. Good jump through the ships once again. Junior getting the clean air out in front of the field. But everybody on 4 fresh tires behind him. He is on old tires, especially those left sides. Those left sides are the same left side tires he's had since the start of the race. And his teammate Hemrick's getting a run through turns 3 and 4. Junior leads the lap at the line, but Hemrick is right behind him. Followed by Hertz, Sieg, Cindric. Jones also just outside the top 5 back there. Hemrick to the outside, Hertz to the inside. 3 wide for the lead as they split Junior. Off of turn 2, Sieg is going to give Junior a shot. Back to the bottom, 3 wide again. Junior now in the bottom lane. Got a huge push from Ryan Sieg. They all drift up the track very tight, almost made some contact. Junior getting shoved around big time. There's a crash off of turn 4. Junior's in the wall. Jones is in the wall. Caution will fly. Cindric, Chastain pile up down the front stretch. A huge crash off of turn 4 as Junior got shuffled out of line by Sieg and then got hit once more by Jones on the top, and around he went, followed by a few others. Now he might as well take tires and fuel under the caution here. Basically foiling the strategy, and now he's lost all the track position. And we'll have to restart back in 28th. He was the only one on pit road there, and Josh Balicki will get the free pass this time. Green flag back in the air. After a major accident off of turn 4. That was our second caution for incident. First of stage 2 in the opening laps of the stage. A lot of cars have damage here, and they're checking up on the restart. Oh wow, nowhere to go for all of these guys. And absolutely nowhere to go. There's some damaged cars holding the pack up on both the inside and the outside on the restart. Everybody's trying to get through it. Cars bobbing and weaving in the middle of the pack. Ross Chastain with heavy damage. I'm surprised he didn't pit. He definitely got a huge part of the damage. And Junior's very lucky not to DNF as well in the process of all that. And Chastain's just losing the horsepower here. Holding up Austin Hill now as Brandon Brown and Dale Jr. split him into turn 3. Junior gets really tight. He's in the wall off of turn 4. Brown was right behind him, had to check up. All that track position lost for Junior now down the front straightaway that he was gaining on the restart. Oh, big bobble. They were 3 wide, and Joe Kraft Jr. just got loose or tight. Whatever happened there, the car definitely washed up the track. Made contact with Dale Jr., but we stayed green after another crazy restart. Hemrick trying to hold on to the lead at the front of the pack. He's got pressure from behind by the second place car. Jeff Green and Joe Graff Jr. have been giving each other no room battling for position. Or not even for position. Joe Graff Jr. is on the lead lap. Jeff Green is not. Green had a great run in the race last night at Atlanta. He had a top 10 run and finished 7th. Doesn't look like he's able to back it up on another mile and a half, though, the next night here tonight. MONRT Gamer 20 or 25 Gamer, welcome to the stream. Indeed, definitely saw the Talladega race last week. Was there in person. Great experience. I think it's going to be another wild one tomorrow. We've had nothing but wild races in the round of 12, and I don't think tomorrow's going to be any exception, especially if it rains. And there's Chastain kind of holding everybody up again there. Junior just blows by him. Barely cleared him, though, going off into turn 3, and then he gets tied up the track, but he is at least able to clear Alex Obey. Chastain trying to go up the track and side draft him, but that damage is definitely slowing him down despite being a top 5 car. Junior about 9 seconds off the lead, by the way. Roberto Sandoval, welcome to the stream. Brandon Jones had some damage to his car as well. Was involved in that big accident, and he's still logging laps, and he's falling outside of the top 10 now. Definitely has some major damage to the front of his car. Not as much as what Chastain has, but he's got quite a bit. We'll alternate to the different camera angles for the first time in the race tonight here in Stage 2. 28 to go in the stage. Wild race already at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Daniel Hemrick won Stage 1. Finished 6th with Dale Jr. And so far in Stage 2, there's been wild. 2 cautions per incident, including that big crash at the beginning of this stage. And again, we have seen cars with decent amount of damage, to say the least. Dale Jr. had some, came down to pit road. Only 2 seconds of damage, though, so it was under the 5-second damage clock. We were able to repair it. Put the 4 fresh tires back on the car and get back out on the racetrack. Now, another thing is, too, with having to take 4 tires there after spinning, only 2.5 sets the rest of the race for Dale Jr. here. That could be concerning going forward. You're definitely going to see him take right sides only under the next pit stop whenever that will come, so he can save the other 2 sets the rest of the way. However, we're still going to have about half the race left at the end of Stage 2, so it is very key for him to conserve the amount of tires he's got behind that pit wall. So he looks to get that 3rd win of the young season. Jeffrey Earnhardt has gotten his way into the top 10. He was just outside the top 10 towards the end of stage 1. I think with the damaged cars falling outside of the top 10, that's really helped him. He's got to maintain his speed despite the fact he's got damage to the front end of his car too, but again, even less severely compared to Brandon Jones and Ross Chastain a little further back. Actually, the majority of the damage almost looks like it's on the right front more than the front nose of the race car, so maybe making the car a little bit tighter. A little too much downforce to the number 0 machine. Dale Jr. in that 9th position. Charging through the field, or at least attempting to. 22 to go at the line still in the stage. We'll go back to the normal camera, at least to the end of the stage. He's 10 seconds off the lead, though. That is a lot of time to gain with really, in all reality, not that many laps left. We're halfway through stage number 2 already here tonight. We're well over a third of the way through the race, so things are definitely going by quick, to say the least. And again, only 2 cautions per incident. Fairly spaced out. Mild green flag run currently, once everything got spaced out a little bit off the restart. Few positions up for grabs here. Shout out to Josh Williams in the number 92 car, running in 7th right now too. Another underfunded team that's having a good run here tonight. Ooh, Junior tried to squeeze to the outside of Cindric. Wasn't a lot of room, almost had to move him out of the way. Junior trying to get that run on the top. We'll give him the straightaway speed down the front. Cut in between Cindric and Williams there, and that will move him up to 7th. Not far behind his teammate Michael Annett in the 1 car. Oh, he's got a big run on Annett. Beat him back to the gas pretty easily there, and he's going to get to his outside down the backstretch. Up to 6th now. 3.5 seconds back from the 5th place car of Ryan Sieg. Junior's cut 2 seconds out of the deficit. Now we get a caution all of a sudden. 3rd caution for incident tonight. And that will give the free pass to Chad Fincham, Colby Howard, Josh Bilicki, David Starr. So a few drivers at the rear of the lead lap, all of them will be staying out under this pit stop, conserving the amount of tires they have. Seen a lot of the other drivers pit quite often already in the race, at least twice. Though we've seen Junior pit twice also, but he took a restart from the lead. Junior is in 6th. That restart is going to give him a lot more time to get around these guys. And he's a lot closer to them. Green flag back in the air. Great restart on the top by Junior. Quickly down to the bottom now. Going for the lead, but his teammate is there to block. Not quite. Junior had too much of a head of steam. Hemrick wasn't able to block him like he wanted. And they're side by side for the lead off in turn 2. Dale Earnhardt Jr. to the lead into turn 3. Taking it away from his teammate, but now he gets tight up the track and he has to lift. He almost got in the wall, barely kept it off, and now his teammates are side by side for second. Junior barely holds on to the lead at the line with 13 to go in stage 2. Big loose moment in the center of the corner. Hemrick gets the run off the top. Junior is still there. Junior Motorsports 1, 2, 3, followed by Briscoe for Stuart Haas Racing in 4th, and Ryan Sieg in 5th. Junior's car is just pushing tight up the racetrack on the exit of these corners. Not able to get away, but they're still side by side for second with 12 to go in the stage, and that is definitely holding those guys back. Allgaier has to sit now in 3rd behind Hemrick. But Junior's already slowly pulling away with the clean air advantage. Trying to win stage 2 perhaps. Nothing is ever easy, even in these situations though. Still got to hit his marks and hope that we stay green. Junior's definitely pulling away now. I think he's got the fastest car at this point in the run. We were starting to see that before the caution, but he was still about 6 or 7 seconds off the lead. We were wondering if he was going to be able to get there. It was likely going to be close. The caution bunched them back together and obviously gave him a lot more time to get around those guys, and he got around them quickly, leading every lap since the restart. Hemrick is definitely had the fastest car throughout the course of the race tonight. That's why he won stage 1. And he's pulling away from 3rd place Ryan Sieg, who has had a string of a couple good races, especially in the race last night at Atlanta. Sieg actually won stage 1 on pit strategy and ended up finishing 2nd in stage 2, followed by finishing 2nd in the race. So Ryan Sieg's got a lot of points after last night, and he's already scored a decent amount of stage points in stage 1, looking to add more to his total here and maybe contend for the win as the race carries on to the final stage of the race. Racing tomorrow on the channel, more NASCAR Heat 5 action, Cup Series action at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Start time for that one will be right at about noon Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. So we can get that one done and out before the start of the Cup race. And of course, predictions video, post-race analysis video, all coming out tomorrow on the channel as well for the Charlotte Roval. Definitely be an interesting one as far as the predictions go for the fantasy live advice that goes into that video, especially the likelihood of rain being in the area. So my research was in depth with that as well. So definitely have to stay tuned for that. So subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. If you're not already subscribed, you're currently watching. And also hit that like button down below if you guys are enjoying this race, the commentary, the video in general. We do the realistic commentary with these full race live streams on the Daily for NASCAR video games, as well as other videos as mentioned. Junior's got to start to get a little loose on him on the exit of the corners, but he's only got a couple laps to go, or at least a handful. 4 laps to go this time by at the line. Kind of overdrove that corner that time, but again, you saw how loose the race car was. Tires are easily going to make it to the end of the stage here. Right side tires only, though, will still be coming up at the pit stop for Dale Jr. So that'll give him 2 sets left from that point on. The left sides aren't quite halfway through the run. Probably by the end of the stage they will be, I'd have to imagine. With 3.5 laps still remaining. I think the left front will be right at about 50%. It's close enough as it is. And again, the right sides will at least be fresh enough to start the final stage. But everybody behind him will likely be taking 4 tires, so they will easily have an advantage come the start of the stage. No problem there, 25 Gamer, but thanks for stopping by tonight. Always appreciate it. Two to go. Junior dominated the end of the stage, but he hasn't led a ton of laps tonight by any means. By the end of the stage, I still think he'll have led less than 20 laps in the race. So, again, he has not led a lot. Right front's starting to get very worn out, but the white flag will be in the air this time by 1 lap to go in stage number 2 for Dale Jr. Looking to add another stage win to his 2020 NASCAR Heat 5 resume here, and obviously that would be another playoff point. Already locked into the playoffs with 2 wins in the first 5 races of the season. Harrison Burton has another 2 wins, and Tommy Joe Martins, who's had a rough night tonight, won the season opener at Daytona. Right around 20th in points. He has to finish in the top 22. Obviously, have that win account for a playoff spot at the end of the 26 race regular season. Green-white checkered flag in the air. Dale Jr. will win stage 2 here in the Xfinity Series. Another 8-car finishes second of Daniel Hemrick, followed by Sieg, Briscoe, Allgaier, top 5. Herbst, Cindric, Williams, Starr. David Starr with a great run there in 9th. And Michael Annett will round out the top 10. So those are your 10 drivers that will earn stage points. Sorry, Annett 9th and Starr 10th, as that changed right at the finish. But either way, those are your 10 drivers that will receive stage points here in the second stage of the race. So this will be a flat-out race to the finish from here. 110 laps in the final stage, just over half the race. Right side tires, Junior will top off on fuel, and no adjustments needed under the stop will repair any damage you might have as well. I'm driving as Ryan Blaney in the Cup Series. Blaney in the Cup, obviously Junior in the Xfinity Series as we're racing here tonight, and Matt Crafton for the Truck Series. So Junior wins the race off pit road with the 2-tire stop. Obviously kind of figured he would win the race off pit road because of that. And the green flag is in the air. One more stage to go here tonight at Homestead. Looked away. That was almost bad going into turn 1 there. Looked away from the screen for just a second to look at the chat. It was almost a second too long. Emmerich able to block the bottom. He had a pretty good restart there for being on the top side. He got down in front of Briscoe and back up to the top in front of Riley Herbst before he could get a run also. Oh, but now he goes all the way to the top looking for speed up there, and Briscoe's easily going to take over the second spot as Junior will lead the opening lap under green in stage 3. But with just those 2 fresh right side tires, here comes Briscoe. Looking to the inside. He sucked the air off the left rear quarter panel of Junior's car. Contact from behind. Williams shoves the 18 of Herbst out of the way, and he stays to the inside going for second. Big run by the 92 of Josh Williams. Almost contact behind Junior as Sieg and Herbst about got together. Herbst trying to go up the middle. Teammate of the 8 car with the 7 right behind him. Herbst got tight. He loses ground in turns 1 and 2. Junior also got tight and lost ground. Allgaier gains a couple spots in that corner. As they go for the lead, Hemrick shoots to the bottom underneath of Chase Briscoe for the lead here in this one. And he's going to have it easily and clears him off of turn 4. And leads the lap at the line. As we're almost halfway home.
Careful, still there. Got one down, one down.
Junior still dropping back on the restart, now back to 9th. Remember, Alex LeBay started at the back here in tonight's race, and he's worked his way up to 8th. Strong run. Also, obviously, as mentioned, Dale Jr. started at the back because he did not practice or qualify. Once again, once Hemrick got to the lead, he is starting to slowly pull away. Junior settling down in 9th place, so currently. Again, 3 cautions for incidents so far in the first half of the race. 1 caution in stage number 1 and 2 in stage 2. We are 2 laps away now from the halfway mark. Junior's fallen to about 3 seconds off the lead. Big run, Junior beats LeBay back to the gas. Slide job up the racetrack, and he clears him for 8th. Good pass, and Cindric was coming, and he knew he had to get around him quick, and now we get a caution at the halfway mark. Cross flags was in the air right as they crossed the line, and so was the yellow flag for a caution. Not sure who it's out on, but the caution is out nonetheless. Free pass will be awarded to Matt Mills, but he'll only get 1 of his 2 laps back here. And a lot of cars at the rear of the lead lap will be pitting, so interesting strategy call there. Might as well if we got nothing to lose. Hemrick still in the lead, and a lot of the top half of the field will be staying out of and keeping their track position currently. So another restart on the horizon. We'll see how this one will go. Junior's had good restarts all day long, whether it's been from the top or the bottom, so we'll have to watch him here. Daniel Hemrick will restart, though, from the lead. Green flag back in the air at Homestead, less than half the race to go now. Another big run all the way to the bottom. 3 wide into turn 1. And Junior just gets down to the bottom so easily. In line down behind Briscoe. Junior goes from 8th to 3rd in turns 1 and 2. Briscoe looking for the lead, but look at Junior getting the power down off in turn 2. He's going for the lead into turn 3 now underneath Hemrick. What a restart from Dale Jr. as he got shot out of a cannon, but as he slides up the racetrack, his teammate will try to overtake him right back. Hemrick never officially lost the lead. Briscoe to the inside of Junior now for 2nd. Junior trying to hang in there. As much as he can, at least, Hemrick pulls him in turns 1 and 2, but he's still able to stay in 2nd place ahead of Briscoe. Hemrick all the way to the outside, Junior to the inside. Can he get up alongside of him off of turn 4? Maybe use a little side draft. He tried to, but he couldn't quite get to him. But now he's in the draft down the front straightaway. He definitely gained time there. Hemrick again to the outside. Junior again to the bottom. Another attempt to get alongside of him and try to side draft. And this time he's alongside of him. Gets a little loose. Stays in the gas. He is there. Teammates side by side for the lead as Junior pulls his teammate back. Now into 3. Another slide job. Boy, he drove it off in there deep. Dale Earnhardt Jr. to the lead at Homestead. Textbook pass. Took him a couple corners to do it. But he's back to the lead again with 95 laps to go. What a restart, and he's able to hang on still as well. That is very impressive. Briscoe closing in on Hemrick. Haiti, welcome to the stream. Number 2 sets of tires left for Dale Jr.'s team, and with less than half the race to go. Obviously, that's half the sets they started off with, so that's good. Tire wear hasn't been a huge problem here tonight. I didn't think it was going to be, but you obviously never know when you have a limit, so you never know exactly how the cautions might play out. Junior's got about half a second lead on his teammate. We'll alternate through the different camera angles one final time in the race tonight over the next handful of laps. Currently in the onboard in-car camera. Junior, Hemrick, Briscoe, Sieg, and Herbst are top 5. Another mile and a half in the next race at Texas, but then we go to Bristol, Talladega, Dover, the next 3 races after that on this Xfinity Series schedule. And I think things have the potential to get wildly entertaining again. Ross Chastain starting to climb back up through the field. He's not only in the top 5, but he's actually up to 4th. Ryan Sieg's dropped back a few positions as well to 5th. We're actually seeing him up around 2nd or 3rd most of this latter portion of the race up to this point at least. Stick with the normal camera now for the rest of this race here tonight. Only imagine this is going to get really good to the finish depending how things might play out here if we get any more cautions. Yes, okay, welcome to the stream. Two cars out of the race. Remember the big story early on back at stage 1 at lap 30. The race leader at the time, Harrison Burton, blew an engine while leading. He led most of the laps in that opening stage despite DNFing and started in the 2nd position, so he definitely had a fast car. And what seemed like Hemrick and Jr. have had the 2 fastest cars in the field tonight. We don't know what could have happened with Harrison Burton if he could have made it. He's already got 2 wins this season in the early going just as well as Dale Jr. He got him much quicker, and he won him back-to-back in races 3 and 4 on the season. So definitely a great start to the year for Harrison Burton. And it was a great start to this race, but things just did not go all that well for him. And he had a rough finish in the race last night, which dropped him from 2nd to 3rd in the points as well. He finished outside the top 10 and pretty much ran outside the top 10 most of the race, so he didn't score a lot of stage points either. Was looking for a bounce-back performance tonight with that blown engine while leading, as that may hurt. With that being said, but also it happened early enough in the race, we weren't even at the end of stage 1, so he got 0 stage points tonight. And only 1 point for his race finish, so that is probably going to drop him back at least a few more spots as far as him trying to keep up with the race for the regular season championship to earn those additional 15 playoff points at the end of the regular season. About a 5-second lead between 1st and 2nd. Chastain up to 3rd meanwhile. Got around Briscoe a couple laps ago now. Brandon Jones back in the top 5 as well. Remember Chastain and Jones in that big accident at the beginning of stage 2? Had heavy damage. Chose to stay out of the pits. Tried to keep the track position and keep chugging on for the rest of stage 2. Well, that caused some valuable stage points there within stage 2. And they're finally getting back in contention if they could just get another yellow before the end of the race, which I wouldn't be surprised if we got one. It's just a matter of if rather than when. Or matter of when rather than if. I'd be surprised if we went green for the last 90 plus laps of the race after having a few cautions per incident up to this point, 4 to be exact. One in this stage already. Left front tire for Dale Jr. getting pretty worn out, down to 19%. Remember, again, he pitted for right sides only at the stage break, so try to conserve those tires he has the rest of the way. So his next 2 stops will be full 4 tire stops. You can see how loose the race car is now as well with this current setup. He has taken a half a round of wedge out since the start of the race also, so with right side tires on top of that, by the end of the run, when he only has 2 fresh tires and those left sides are really old, it's obviously upsetting the race car, but he'll stay out as long as he can, hoping for a caution. He knows he's going to be the first car onto pit road, so that could be a problem if we get a yellow after he hits the pits, but before everybody else has to pit. He topped off on fuel, so honestly, by the time he pits, even if he makes it another 8 to 9 laps, everybody else can stay out about an extra 20 laps longer than Dale Jr. So what looks like it's a 2-stop race here in the stage for Dale Jr., it might only be a 1-stop stage for everybody else, so that could hurt him as well. On top of it, if there's a caution the rest of the way. Another thing to look out for as this race progresses. Junior almost got in the back of Mills. He actually got on the brakes in the center of 3 and 4 to keep the running into the back of him. Definitely tells more than him just getting out of the gas. It was an abrupt stop, pretty much. The closing rate speed there in the center of the corner. The car's definitely all over the place. You can really see the rear of the car wanting to turn, or wanting to drift up towards the wall, while the front of the car wants to just turn straight to the infield wall on the exit of these corners. So he's definitely got to hang on here. Oh man, it looked like he was going to be all right there. It just grabs. As soon as you come off the banking onto the flat, the corners here are progressively banked, and they're banked actually pretty high compared to most mile-and-a-half racetracks, but the straightaways are so flat on this racetrack compared to most of, if not all, the mile-and-a-half racetracks within NASCAR. Definitely a drastic change there. When the surface gets really old, if they decide to let it go, almost kind of like Atlanta or Fontana currently. Create massive bumps there. Don't have a ton of really huge bumps here, and that's why the tire wear is not as bad. Oh my goodness, what a moment there. Handful of that race car for Dale Jr. Gonna be bare knuckling that steering wheel at this point. Car's just getting really shaky on the exit of these corners. Not really worse in one end compared to the other. It's just equally bad on the exits all the way around. So hoping for that caution. That right front slowly catching back up to the left front as well, which is kind of what he was hoping over the course of the run anyway. Might help the handling as well too if the right sides start to catch up with the left sides. Justin Haley, another rough performance. He finished outside the top 20 yesterday and ran there all day, and he's running outside the top 20 most of the day today also. Oh man, I don't think he made contact with Jeremy Clements in the 51 there. Definitely close. Junior is putting a lot of cars a lap down right now if we did get a caution before he hits pit road. Wipe a lot of cars out of contention to even get back on the lead lap, or perhaps a top 10 at this point if we got a yellow really soon. Definitely the most cars we've had a lap down this entire race up to this point.
Go easy on the tire. All right, you're clear there.
Yeah, that right front shouldn't completely catch up compared to where the left front's at right now either. 70 laps to go here tonight at Homestead. Largest lead of the night for anybody. 14 seconds for Dale Jr. over now Ross Chastain, who had actually passed Daniel Hemrick a couple laps ago for second. So Chastain's starting to pick up speed as this race moves forward within the final stage. Ooh boy. They undercut that corner a little too much. A couple more laps and we're definitely going to see Dale Jr. on pit road. I didn't think he was quite going to make it as long as he did, but thought he might have had to pit about 3-4 laps ago, but I guess that wasn't the case. And he could probably still make it at least a couple more beyond this point. No, I don't really listen to Beartooth, Tim. I've heard of him, but yeah, I don't. Off the top of my head, I couldn't really name you a song from him, to be quite honest.
Go easy on the tire. You got room. You're clear.
Now the right front's down to 20% as well. Both front tires extremely worn out. I mean, Junior is stretching this pretty close to making it on one stop again. We can run about 55 laps on a full tank of fuel. We'll have 66 to go this time by. I still think by the time he pits, he's not going to be able to make it on just one more stop. But at least he's got an extra set of tires that can help him. It definitely helped with him playing that strategy early for that sake. The just-in-case strategy, and seems to be working out all right for him up to this point. I don't see how it's going to hurt him at this point with the way we've had these longer green flag runs today, despite having 4 cautions still for incident. Josh Williams is back outside the top 10 now. He's very close to Joe Nemechek, with both of them again having a great performance on underfunded equipment. Dale Jr. now inside the top 10. He's up to 9th. As far as the putting a lap on the field here, so only 9 cars are on the lead lap. See he leads. Yeah, I'll probably have to give him a listen for sure. I guess I've never really listened to him because obviously I wouldn't have sought out for him, but with YouTube, that's where I listen to my music. I have YouTube Premium. And obviously I don't really think I've seen them and like recommended or anything like that, so I just never really went out of my way to search him. But I've definitely heard of the band name. Dale Jr. going to stay out one more lap here. He'll be coming to pit road this next time by. That means the rest of the field will likely come to pit road about 10 laps after him. They will be a lot closer to making it on one stop, as we kind of mentioned, and we were leading up to seeing that. So Dale Jr. will be coming to pit road this time by. With just 8 cars on the lead lap. 45 miles an hour is the pit road speed limit. Oh, and he actually blew the left front. Wow. Damage to the 8 car. He was taking it easy coming off the apron of the racetrack. He had a big lead. And we saw that problem in Season 1 a few times at the, more so in the playoffs in Season 1. The Xfinity Series, coming off the apron of the racetrack, has blown the left front out. First time that's happened this season. And that is severe damage to this number 8 machine that has been so fast all night. And that is definitely going to take some speed out of it, and that is concerning going forward the rest of this race. Not very visible, but it is definitely there. Oh yeah, for sure. That's all I listen to for the most part. Mostly metal, but yeah, I still listen to. Nice to go back and listen to some classic rock, some stuff I grew up on for the most part, time to time, or even what's going on, you know, now, keeping with the times. So I'm not sure how this is going to change the handling of the race car for Dale Jr., but he's got heavy damage to the front of the race car after it bottomed out pretty harshly coming off of the bank into the racetrack onto pit road. He was going slow to make sure he wouldn't pop the tire, but he ended up popping it anyway, and he's still on the lead lap after coming out of the pits, so that's good. About 26 seconds off the lead in 15th. So that has put more cars back on the lead lap now. 16 to be exact. Noah Gragson would be the first car 1 lap down. And just 60 laps to go now this time by. So we've gone over 30 laps without a caution. Over 35 actually. Last one green with 97 to go in the stage, in the race for that matter. Michael and Ned has really faded back over the course of this race as well. He was very fast back at stage 1, early stage 2. He was running top 5. He's back to 14th right now, and he is struggling to keep that speed going. Actually back to 15th after Dale Jr. passed him because that was 4 positions. So problems just continuing for the number 1 team. 55 laps left now, so we're going to see these leaders hit pit road in probably about the next 2 to 3 laps. They are borderline to make it to the end from now on fuel. So that is definitely interesting up to this point. We've stayed green for quite a long time in this one. Alright, that's definitely a good start. Have to remember that. And now we get a caution right before the leaders were going to come on to pit road. So with 54 laps to go, we get a yellow. Very intriguing to say the least here. And Junior's going to have to come to pit road and take those 4 fresh tires for the final time. Again, cannot repair damage. But he's going to have to do this. Another half a round of wedge being taken out of the car as well. That is the only adjustment coming, topping off on fuel while he's at it, of course. So Rosschaff staying in the lead at the time of the caution. That is our 5th caution for incident today. And we are going to have not many laps left for the most part, about a quarter of the race remaining. Green flag back in the air here at Homestead. Another great restart by Junior. Gets through the shift so easily. 50 laps to go here tonight. Homestead-Miami Speedway. Will this be the final restart of the race? We had an epically long green flag run there, almost 50 laps. This would be the longest green flag run of the race if we get to the checkered flag without another caution. 3 wide, middle of the pack here. Up the middle, it looked like the 92 was going to go. Oh, he got cut off by Junior, who got tied up the track into the wall. They're 4 wide off of turn 4. Junior had nowhere to go but to stay up against the wall there and keep going at the top side of the track. Trying to stay out of everybody's way with how damaged the race car is. Trying to pick the speed back up. He's lost a lot of track position despite still being in 15th. His final set of tires the rest of the way. And why did he pit there, you would say, after he gave up the track position? It's more than just staying on equal tires the rest of the way. In case that was the last caution, if he would have had to pit under green, it would have been game over. And he saw that in the truck series. Finished 24th with Matt Crafton. Even though we were leading a lot of laps late in the race. Won a stage there as well. The reason why we finished 24th, we had to pit very late in the race. We could not make it on tires the rest of the way. We were not able to make our way back to the field, and just in case, that's why what you saw Dale Jr. come to pit road, but equal tires. He's not only had a tight race car, but it takes more than half the run to get going. But now with the damage of the race car after the left front tire that blew out, it's going to be a tough ride for him to get back up and challenge for the win, especially if we do stay green to the end of the race. It's going to be almost impossible. And this is also going to have to be as far as he is going to be able to go as well on tires this entire race. Gregson did get the free pass under the caution, by the way, so he is back on the lead lap at 17th. That's why you see him at the back of the pack as well. Juniors fell back there. Noah Gregson restarted back here. Oh, trouble! Car on the wall. Didn't even see it at first. Caution's out again. So I guess that last worry star wasn't the final one. David Starr got in the wall in turns 3 and 4. Junior almost hit him. Saw him at the last second, ducked low to avoid. Junior was on the top side in 3 and 4 with that car in the wall. He would have got into him hard right in the back. That might have ended his day. We stay green. Sorry, we don't stay green. We'll go back to green is what I meant to say. 42 laps to go this time by. This will give Junior a little bit of that track position back again. Hopefully he can maintain it this time. We'll see. Green flag back in the air again. 42 laps left now to decide the winner of the race. This will help his tire conservation just a little bit more. That's 3 less laps under green he has to run. 3 wide to the bottom. But again, we don't know what the speed is going to look like in the car. And again, that can be concerning as well. As he gets through the shifts there, he can get himself within contention to get a late race restart. That could be big. He can't repair the damage because it is 7 seconds worth, so it is over the 5-second damage clock. Junior gained a couple spots on the restart, 2 to be exact. 1. He restarted 15th, he got up to 14th. Trying to stick with these guys right now. Austin Cindric going for the lead. Hemrick has found himself side by side for third. He's on the outside, pretty much in 4th. They're still side by side for the lead up there. Ross Chastain on that top lane trying to pinch Cindric down. Trying to keep him from getting any sort of a run. And Chastain's able to clear him from the top side. Pulling down in front of him on the bottom through 1 and 2. Junior's definitely been having to use a little bit more brakes as he got the damage as well. Just a little with a run to the inside of Nemechek. Nemechek's really fallen back in the final stage of the race. Also, remember, he was in right around 9th or 10th for a while there. He's back in 16th now. Struggling to hang on and battle even just for 15th. Daniel Hemrick back up to 2nd, and he's knocking on the doorstep of the lead there on Ross Chastain. Junior to the inside of Austin Hill into turn 1. That is 4th position and for 13th on the racetrack as he'll slide up in front of him. Hemrick to the inside, down the back straightaway into turn 3. Side by side for the lead again. This time, Tim and Chastain. Chastain tried to throw the block on him and outrun him there, and I think he did for a moment, and he did. So Hemrick still taking a peek to the inside, but Cindric's holding on. He leads the lap at the line again. No lead change that time. Junior to the inside of LeBay. Into turn 1. Can't quite slide up in front of him there. That was close, but not quite.
Still there. Inside. Quillo.
Oh, man.
Got a car on that.
What a move by Nemechek. Trying to fight back into it to maybe get back in the top 10 by the end of the race. As he gets to the inside of Junior there. Junior was trying to get to the inside of Alex LeBay, and Nemechek clears both Junior and LeBay off of turn 2. Great move. Junior gets to run out the exit of the corner. He gets back to the inside of Nemechek, and he cleared LeBay before they even got into turn 3. Great 3-car battle here. Definitely takes experience to get good at golf. I mean, it's like that with anything, but I've been playing for 5 years, but actually this is the least amount of golf I've played since I started. When I started, my dad bought me a membership when I was 16, I believe. Yeah, because this would be my 5th year playing, so 16. And so I played literally every day I could after school. If I wasn't working, I would go out there. In the summertime, when I was off of school, in the summer, but I was working. I was either going before or after work, depending, you know, what time I had to work, but I was going every day. And then with my work schedule at Lowe's after I graduated, I was going every single day. This is the first year I haven't been able to, because with where I'm working at now and the whole COVID thing breaking up the schedule, I wasn't able to play more than 4 days a week. So that was a big cutback for me, but I'm playing great now still this year. It definitely takes practice. I'm definitely getting good. I'm not a scratchy golfer up to this point after 5 years, which actually for 5 years I'm right around a 2 or 4 for a handicap for 9 holes, so it's pretty solid if I say so myself. But again, that's because I practiced a lot. I had a membership, I was going out there, and then I started going to one different course last year during the week to kind of change it up, make sure I wasn't just getting too used to that course in particular. But yeah, definitely a lot of practice. You got to take your time with it. What I always wanted to try it, and then when I tried it, I fell in love with it because of how bad I was, and I wanted to get good at it, and that's what drove me to keep going out there. I'm like, I want to get better at this, want to get better, because that's just the competitive nature in me. So kept doing that, and everyday hobby for me. We'll have 31 laps to go this time by. Junior's about to pass the 92 of Williams for 9th place. He goes for it, and one fellow swoop barely clears him off in turn 4. Junior wasted no time to get up to 9th. 31 to go at the line there. He is about 6 to 6.5 seconds off the lead. So he is trying desperately to get back into this one, despite the damage. Yeah, best way to get started, I highly recommend getting a membership. Now, memberships are a little cheaper up where I live in Northwest Ohio, but that's because the golf courses aren't open year-round. If you can't afford it in one payment, which is perfectly understandable, I think when I was working at McDonald's, my dad bought it for me the first year, but I think that first year after, and even the next year after, I couldn't afford it in one fell swoop, but I was making payments on it throughout the course of the year. So literally every month I would like drop like $100 down, because I think it was like 600. So it was roughly $100 like every 4 weeks or every month. So which it does make up for it. You might think, wow, that's a lot of money. I don't know if I want to do it, but you could play for free at that point. Especially if you walk, for sure. If you walk, you can play for free. You might have to pay for a cart. Courses depend on that with your membership, but you could also get a cart pass if you really wanted to. But anyway, yeah, you could. It's just practice. Between doing that and going to a driving range, I would definitely start going to a driving range first before you just hit the course. Just to hit balls, get used to your club. But yeah, when you actually go to a golf course, I would highly recommend getting a membership. I talked to a buddy of mine doing it last year because he's like, man, I don't know. And he was in college and he needed money, but I'm like, dude, he liked golfing though, and he liked, you know, playing once or twice a week with me. I'm like, all you have to do is play twice a week, and you already make your money up for it. So any times extra we go, you're getting more than your money's worth. And we were going twice a week, but there were a lot of weeks, like every 2 or 3 weeks, we were going 3 or 4 times a week. Obviously, I was going every day, but he would tack up depending on what day he didn't have class or whatever he was trying to get out there. So he would squeeze it in. He more than made his money up for it. And obviously, I did too because I was going every day. But that's the best way to do it. My personal opinion, but also because I've done it before, so I have experience with it. If it was a bad idea, I wouldn't have kept doing it, and I wouldn't tell you to do it. So, as far as getting clubs, I wouldn't get anything special. I would, honestly, if you're just starting out, I would try to see if you can borrow clubs from, you know, maybe a family member that might golf or something, or that has an extra old set that they don't use anymore. Just to get used to getting the swing down, getting your, like, all your mechanics down. Yeah, most golf courses have a driving range too, so not all of them. I know the one I play at does. Most regularly does. 25 laps to go this time by. So we get back to the racing action here. Dale Jr. still in ninth. He is 7.5 seconds off the lead, so he is still losing time from the leaders right now. Despite gaining positions, but this is going to be tough if he's going to get this win. He won stage 2. He's going to pass Austin Cindric for 8th. Cindric maybe trying to cross him back over, but Junior pulls the block off in turn 4. He doesn't want to race Cindric too much. That's why he pulled the block on him. He didn't want Cindric getting another run at him. If he would have pulled back alongside of him and tried to side draft him, that would have wasted just a little bit more time. And Junior's got to get going here. He's gaining positions, but as far as the race leader goes, he's losing time to the leader. Now he's going to get around Justin Allgaier in turns 3 and 4 for 7. No need to even block him that time. He just had to run off the exit of the corner as well. He just flat out beat him back to the gas. Ryan Sieg, Chase Briscoe, not too far ahead. Another lap car in the mix as well, I believe. No, actually, that's Riley Hurst in the 18. He is also on the lead lap. So, 4th, 5th, and 6th right in front of Junior. He could be in the top 5 before long. And this is shaping up to be a wild finish to this race. Things keep playing out the way they're going right now. Junior going for 5th on Sieg. And Chase Briscoe going to follow Junior on up in there, and he's going to pass Sieg himself, but actually got loose on corner exit. Sieg is able to get back to the outside of him, and they're still side by side down the back into turn 3. Junior to the inside of Riley Herbst, and he'll get around it for 4th. Pretty large gap before the next lead lap car, Brandon Jones in 3rd. He's got about 3.5 seconds to him. He is gaining time on the leader, who is probably struggling in lap traffic as well right now. He's barely less than 6 seconds off the race lead. A gold club? I have no clue what you mean by that. Buy a gold club. Are you talking about like a membership, or? I wouldn't get a membership at a really, really expensive golf course because you're... I mean, it would make you better quicker perhaps, but it might take a little bit of some self-esteem out of you when if you play a tough course. Like if I go to I've played a couple pro courses. this year alone. And if I could play good golf there, but once I go to a pro course, I play average golf, if not worse than that. So it goes to show I definitely still have a long ways to go in my game, but definitely getting better. Brian O'Born, welcome to the stream. You got Dale Jr. currently running in fourth, 5 seconds off the lead now. Battle for the lead going on between Ross Chastain and Daniel Hemrick. They're within 3 to 4 tenths of a second from each other, with less than 20 to go, 18 to be exact this time by. So things are heating up quickly at the end of the race. If we don't get another caution, we will finish the final 42 laps under green flag conditions. Only 5 cautions total here tonight.
Hold your line, stay high. All right, you're clear there.
Junior's definitely running him down. I don't know if he's got enough time. Battle for the lead is on, though, and Ross Chastain is side by side with Daniel Hemrick. As you see the leaderboard changing there up in the upper left-hand corner of the screen. Keeps swapping names between Hemrick and Chastain and Junior. That's allowing him to close the gap at a much quicker rate. Lap traffic also getting in the way of those two. Not currently, but they've got about 3 cars not too far ahead of them. This could allow Jones to close in as well, but he is still about 2.5 seconds off the lead. Junior, one of the fastest cars on the track. Thanks for sticking around there, Brian. Stumbling over my words here the last couple laps. I don't know what's going on. Probably fatigue and being tired after the work week. My guess. Hemrick got through that lap traffic about as well as he could, and he pulled away from Chastain, who's still struggling to get around it. Hemrick is separated. He's about a half a second, if not more, ahead of him. 14 laps to go. Chastain still hasn't gotten around those guys. And Brandon Jones and Dale Jr. are closing in, but Jr., most importantly, now to the inside of Jones down the back straightaway. Got to run off of turn 2. Jr. might be the fastest car on the racetrack. Don't forget about that right front tire, though. It's down to 22% tire wear. Adding more drama to the end of the race. Junior had to check up into turn 1 to keep from running over McLaughlin, the lap car in the 93. Hemrick is pulled out about a second ahead from Chastain, who has struggled through the lap traffic and is costing him a shot at the win. But Hemrick is getting through it perfectly right now. Catching them in a lot better spots, too. Again, easily going to get around Vinnie Miller up there. And I don't think that right front's going to make it to the end of the race for Junior. Just 12 laps to go, but he's going to have to start backing off, or he's not even going to make it to the end of the race. He is committed to staying out. He cannot pit at this point if he's going to want to win, or even salvage a good finish. If he pits, he's more than likely going to finish well outside the top 20. Similar situation came down in the truck race. Crafton had to pit with about 8 to go. Didn't get the caution he needed. And he finished 24th, and the same might go for Dale Jr. here in the Xfinity race tonight. On that middle to upper lane, that'll help a little bit. Less turn. It'll give him a run down the back straightaway here. He hasn't lifted any more than what he's had to so far, and he's going for second on Ross Chastain. Bottom of the racetrack, he'll clear him easily off of turns 3 and 4. Hemrick with another lap car right in front of him. Top three, all within a second. Hemrick caught the lap car in a bad spot going into turn one. I believe that's Noah Gregson in the 9, his teammate. But obviously the two at the front of the field, 1-2, are both Junior Motorsport teammates nonetheless as well. Junior gets around Gregson a lot quicker than what Hemrick did. And we'll see how Chastain will get around Noah Gregson as well. Junior to the outside. Hemrick on the inside. Junior gets the run down the front straightaway. 9 laps to go at Homestead. Junior again to the top of the track. Returns 1 and 2. Hemrick on the bottom while he slide up in front of him. Junior gets the run though. He can do it. Junior on the outside with the run. Down to the bottom of the block into turns 3 and 4. Keeping Hemrick from getting a crossover move on him. Junior also beats him back to the gas, and Dale Jr. with 8 laps to go has taken the lead from his teammate, but will the right front tire hold on to the finish? Alfredo's going to go a lap down. 16 cars now on the lead lap. Junior got really loose into turn 3 that time. Hemrick tried to close the gap, but then he got caught behind Alfredo, so the lap traffic costed Chastain a good shot at the win, or at least at the time. And he is closing in on Hemrick all of a sudden because now Hemrick is struggling in the lap traffic. And we don't even know if Dale Jr.'s right front tire will make it to the end of the race. He is backing off these corners and trying to maintain the gap at the same time, which is very tough to do in the midst of lap traffic on top of it. He can't push that car to its limits anymore. Fuel should be good to go to the end as long as we don't have multiple overtimes. 6 laps to go. A lot of clean air in front of Junior now after he got by Clements. Justin Haley got in the way of Hemrick now, and also that lap car of Alfredo got in the way of Chastain, so that buys Junior a little more time. Trying to nurse it. 5 laps to go this time by. This is going to be the longest 5 laps around this track for Junior. He's backing way out of the gas at 1 and 2. Hemrick's closing in. He's taking the absolute shortest way around the track at this point. He's getting out of the gas so early in the corners. He can afford to do it. He's still sliding up the track though. 4 to go. Backing out quite a bit in turns 1 and 2. He's trying not to turn the wheel as much as possible. That's why he's backing out so much. Still maintaining that gap. Hemrick's now about 1.5 seconds ahead of Chastain. More lap traffic in front of the leaders. Three to go. Caution comes out at this point. We will go to overtime. Junior got it around Matt Mills pretty easily there. Andrew Hollenbach, welcome to the stream. Hemrick got around the lap car very easily that time with Matt Mills going into turn 3. 2 laps to go. This time by. Junior's going to hustle around the lap cars down the front stretch. 3 wide there. Will he get to the white flag to at least signify the next flag would end the race? They're side by side right now. That could cause problems for Daniel Hemrick. And now Mike Harmon kind of moving up in the way of Dale Jr. Oh man, a little contact. Not making Junior's life any easier. Slightly pulling away from Hemrick though. White flag in the air, 1 lap to go at Homestead-Miami Speedway for Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the NASCAR Xfinity Series here on NASCAR Heat 5. He has nursed it home to the end, trying to hope that the right front tires survive. He's going to make it. 42 laps on this green flag run. He's going to make it. Through 3 and 4 for the final time. Despite the scare, Dale Earnhardt Jr. will win his 3rd of the year and will go back-to-back on the 1.5 miles and back-to-back nights. Bass, welcome to the stream. Despite being late, better late than never. And Junior's going to make sure he pulls that tire in the victory celebration. Not possible in the game, but if it was, I'm sure he would have blown it by now, knowing it was right on the edge at the finish line. Great management of the tires at the end of the race there for Dale Earnhardt Jr. 42 laps on the green flag run, but remember the last time he had actually hit pit row from the time they went green, he made it 50 laps and only 3 of which were under caution. So he actually had 47 laps on those tires at the end of the race. So great job. That is as far as he had to go the entire night. Dale Jr. with the win, also won Stage 2. Daniel Hemrick, who won Stage 1, also finished 2nd in the race. Ross Chastain rallied back after getting involved in the huge accident that you see on the screen currently. That happened at the beginning of Stage 2. He rallied back for 3rd. Brandon Jones also caught up in that accident, rallied back to finish 4th. Riley Hurst rounds out the top 5, followed by Sieg, Briscoe, Allgaier, Cindric, and Annette, your top 10. 106 minutes total time of the race today. That is an hour and 46 minutes as well. 15 drivers finished on the lead lap in today's race also. And your only DNFs tonight, we had 3 of them. Landon Castle, Cesar Baccarella, and Harrison Burton. Remember, again, Burton on lap 30 tonight blew an engine while leading in the early going of the race. Had a good qualifying spot, too. He might have been one of the guys to beat if he could have made it a lot further. That is the 3rd win for Junior this season. He's got a 35-point lead over Chase Briscoe. Harrison Burton, who came into this race 3rd in points, falls all the way back to 6th. So he was definitely the big loser in that aspect, only getting 1 point tonight because he didn't get any stage points, and he was the first to DNF. But Dale Jr. with the points lead, and obviously more playoff points with the win here tonight. Indeed, Tommy Joe Martins does have to stay in the top 20 after winning at Daytona. I think last I checked, he was 17th. So he was pretty close there. So we'll have to see how that goes the rest of the year also. Briscoe had the fastest lap. Junior led the most, 65 of the 200 laps led. Again, started from the back, won the race. That is going to do it here tonight. Subscribe for more daily NASCAR content such as these full race live streams with a realistic broadcast. Hit the like button down below if you enjoy the race commentary, the video in general. I will see you guys tomorrow. Noon-ish Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. We'll run the Homestead-Miami Speedway race for the Cup Series, and that will take place obviously before the Charlotte Roval. We'll get that done before the Roval race starts. I know I'm excited for that one. I'm sure you guys are too. So big day on the channel tomorrow. Also got predictions, post-race analysis video for tomorrow's Cup Series race as well. And it is my lone day off of work in a 9-day stretch, so I'm going to enjoy it as much as I can. I'm going to get to bed now here tonight. Hopefully you guys will soon, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good rest of your night.